playing guitar, driving a Tesla, using my P. Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to the Wrestler Review. My name is Lex Friedman. Joining me, of course, Vladimir Putin.
Oh, yeah. It is me, Vladimir Putin. Putin in my butt. You can use that.
This is my Lex Friedman impression. I'm Lex Friedman because I don't believe that the voice he uses on that podcast is real.
Oh, here's my impression of Lex Friedman. I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
He's two words.
What I really like about Lex Friedman is everyone was like, where'd this guy come from? And it's like, well, he was really into AI when that was sexy, and then he pivoted into really be into Elon Musk when that was sexy, and now he's just really into Joe Rogan. He's either a spy or just someone successfully using the internet. We don't know. We don't know which one it could be, but we know he's one of the two.
Hey, man, like I said, on one of the things we recorded, because I don't know anything, 8-hour podcast with Elon Musk? No. They should have killed both those people. As soon as that was done, they should just blown their brains out. And I mean, anybody that does an 8-hour podcast. If you have time for an 8-hour podcast, you shouldn't have money.
The CIA needs more elder millennials that are just like, they did what? Fucking kill him. Why? Because I know what the fucking end run of this is. Do you fucking think it stops at 8-hour podcast? 8-hour podcast, carnivore diet, buying an electric car, suddenly going vegan, very annoying wife, critical of my kid's birthday loot bags. It ends now, motherfuckers.
I feel like it is a spectrum like they taught us in politics class in grade 11 was like, at this end is fascism and at this end is communism, which I don't even think is that correct, but that's the way they taught it. If you go too far left, it's, whatever, and then if you go too far right, it's the same thing. And then democracy and whatever's in the middle. I feel like that is also like being rich. If you have too much money or you're unemployed, you just have too much time on your hands. You have too much time on your hands, 8-hour podcast, you're unemployed, 8-hour podcast.
There is no real difference between a super rich man or a super poor man. They both have outdoor showers. They both do not give a fuck about the shoes they're wearing. And they are going to be up to a weird activity at a weird time of the day. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why the fuck are you registering to vote? I'm on ketamine.
Yeah, it's the same thing. They both have drivers making them go around do things. It's just the rich guy is checking on his businesses, and the poor guy is just trying to score a blow. I had a white cab driver in Thunder Bay. That should also be illegal.
I disagree entirely. It's how you know you're in rural Canada. What I do like about the one of 3 cab drivers in Thunder Bay, Ontario, is one of them is up there along with my friend telling me about Jeffrey Epstein in 2014, which that guy was like, we were driving over across a bridge in Thunder Bay, and he's like, this fucking bridge, this is where the Mounties throw native kids every Friday. And I was just like, all right, well, I guess my cab driver's insane. Later, there was an expose. That's what the RCMP was doing for over 20 years. Every Friday, they throw a native kid in the river. How fucked is racism in Canada
Christ.
that it's a thing? Like, it's Friday, go find one. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean,
I remember reading the news article being like, I have no way to find that white cab driver, but I want to, and be like, turns out you were right. And unfortunately, because you were right about this, that means you think you'll be right about a bunch of other stuff you're wrong about. Women should drink my piss was the other thing he kept saying.
Oh, yeah, this guy, there's, like, you would say most cabbies, if they're just here from a new country, they'll tell you about, what they used to be in their old country. I was a surgeon, and then you got to go, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, you apologize on behalf of the entire institution, but this guy was just like, saying a bunch of stuff about how low-paying being a cabbie is, and I was like, yeah, that sucks, man. And then I was like, just as I was feeling sorry for him, he got racist, and I was like, there you go. That's the end of this.
I take a lot of cab drivers that are questionable because I go to a lot of places in the States where I like to play a game called if I see a cab before I need to get an Uber, I'm taking the cab. And nothing beats in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm walking to a stand. It says Nooga Taxi this way. There's a bunch of green taxis with the emblazed company Nooga Taxi, and in front of them, big black guy named Dave who went, hi, I'm Dave. Nooga Taxi fucking sucks. You want to go in my van? And I went, Dave, yes, I do. And we drove. Let me tell you this about Dave. Dave loves weed. Dave's got some real opinions about how to raise a daughter. I did not speak once. We got in, and he literally went, "You got yourself a daughter, John?" And I said, "No." And he went, "I do. Bad taste in men. I want to beat that guy up." Boom! And we're off, baby. And let me tell you who else gets off. Barry fucking Darsow, the subject of today's review. Oh, my God. Am I stood up, but I am moving? That's because it was a segue, motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Barry Allen Darsow. Second time recording. We are going to be featuring matches such as Barry Hole-in-One Darsow versus Mike P. Enos. Repo Man versus Crush at SummerSlam 19 and Hawk Does Crack. Blacktop Bully versus Dustin Rhodes in a King of the Road, You're Both Fired match. And finally, here comes the X, here comes the smash, here comes Andre the Giant. Hasn't been able to move since WrestleMania 4, but it's WrestleMania 6. He's challenging Haku and Andre the Giant for the World Tag Team titles in the best match Demolition ever had, and the match is kind of okay. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about the Wrestler Review's very own muse. The reason why we do this podcast. Shut up. You're fat. Barry Darsow. Dylan, which match would you like to start with?
I mean, let's start with the first one, not from Mr. Darsow himself, but the first one chronologically. Let's start with Demolition versus Andre and Haku.
I absolutely love this match. I think it is a unsung end of an era match. This is Andre the Giant's last appearance at WrestleMania. It is the only time where he really looks like a Montreal drunk. He's got that beautiful drunk, like that drunk layer of liquid directly under the skin that you can visibly see. Like, it's like, oh my God, that waterbed's alive. He is just not present. Like, it's just there's an interview before the match where they just try to get Andre and Haku to speak at the same time. Bobby the Heenan goes, "Gentlemen, we have a plan." And at the same time, they all three say different words. It's truly uncomfortable. I want to go home. Andre thinks he's home. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I like the long-standing wrestling tradition of people being in the ring well past their legitimate death date.
Like, it is literally insane that John Cena is attempting to retire in this year of our Lord 2025 when Ric Flair is literally being contractually prevented from rushing the ring and trying to real fight him to maintain the fact that he's the 17-time world champion. Like, to understand how fucking insane wrestling used to be to now, in that, like, wrestling's weird now in that it gives us people like Dave Bautista, who's just on Ozempic, but will sit there no, I do walks now. Or John Cena, who's just like, I want to go into Hollywood, so I'm going to make a bunch of money, and we're just going to do, like, one big last trip around the sun, as opposed to back in the day where it's like, well, you have no function of your arms or legs, Mr. Dynamite Kid, so I am a doctor. I'm going to say you can wrestle for almost 4 more years or until you show a gun to your family, whichever comes first.
Well, I will say this. Those two men have options. Dave Bautista is now an actual actor who's in Hollywood, which is fucking insane. Like, if you were going to be like the Animal Batista storyline, remember he was the animal where he was ferocious but also smart like an animal.
Oh, yeah.
The double thumbs down powerbomb, pretending his arms are fucking guns. That guy is going to be a...
Whoa. Put some fucking respect in your fucking mouth when you talk about when he used to walk out and in sync with his song go,
my fucking arms are guns, dude. And now that guy is like a sought-after actor.
Me. I have arms that are guns, and I collect lunch boxes.
That was another part of his character that was rejected. He's very into lunch boxes.
Did you not know this about Dave Bautista? That Dave Bautista has, like, for his I don't know what happened in Dave Bautista's childhood, but I'm assuming either his dad beat him with a lunch pail or his mom threw a lunch pail at his dad. Because, quote unquote, I've always collected lunch boxes. It's important for a man to have a hobby. My hobby is collecting lunch boxes. When things are bad, I have to sell them. I've lost my collection many times. Dave Bautista is the best of all the wrestlers going Hollywood because he actually transitioned into an actor you'd like see at a theater school. Oh, what do I do to prepare for the role of Drax? I don't even have the time to explain.
He's just clearly not on steroids, but you can't say that. You can't just be like, yeah, I stopped doing steroids.
Yeah, just I'm on Ozempic now. Like it's like, have you seen the interviews where he's explaining why he's thin? He's like, well, I switched to a vegan diet and I wanted to make sure that my joints are okay. And then you can tell the interviewer's like, and you're on Ozempic, right? And he's like, no, but
Yeah. I went to a doctor who said my bones are hollow like straws now because of all the steroids I've done. Wait, no, I just eat carrots. My favorite, I'm actually not on steroids. Explanation was Alistair Overeem in Pride FC, where he gained legitimately 10 pounds of muscle in 2 weeks, and he said it was because of horse meat. Yeah, I gained 10 pounds of solid muscle in 2 weeks. I eat horse.
My current favorite is just American podcast comedians are all on they're all just on steroids now, and
that's fucking sick.
Like it went from like, oh, Joe Rogan told me to get some testosterone to they're like, well, no, he's got this like one doctor that keeps just like giving me testosterone injections. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
you guys are on steroids. I now understand everything that's going on. No one deals better. I love comedians because either comedians are like, they just age. They're like, look, I've been gross this whole time. Now it's societally acceptable. I'm 40. Or comedians deal with aging like literally everyone in their family has cancer that's going to give them AIDS. Like, I know a guy that started to lose his hair. He put everything in a storage locker and drove around Asia and Australia. Still doing it. It's been 10 years. Do you know how fucking nuts you have to be like, oh, shit, it's getting a little thin up here. I better only drink blended drinks while in Osaka. Goodbye. Like, oh, my God.
All right, so Demolition versus Haku and Andre the Giant. How much has wrestling changed? Obviously, it's changed. It's been like 40 years. But like, how much has wrestling changed where it's like, all right, Andre can't move, but he's clearly the star. He's the guy we work around. Who's our workhorse? Haku.
Oh, Haku is amazing in this match. He does so many fake karate.
Oh, yeah. I love where it's like, where you're from? Samoa. Yeah, that's near China. You do karate.
Yeah, you do kung fu or whatever. Am I from Brazil? Anyway, Axe and Smash are like, they literally do nothing. They run at Haku. Haku does 8 moves, and then they're like, okay, and then they walk back. Like, this match is clearly just a holiday for all of them. The moveset of Demolition it's crazy and insulting to the Road Warriors. They're like, they're the most jacked, intense wrestlers we've ever seen. How are we going to copy them? We got these 2 chunky dudes who dress like they just got fucked by someone wearing a dog mask.
Here comes the Yags. Here comes the Smasher. Fuck our wives or we'll dox you.
Yeah. Here comes the axe. Here comes the Smasher. You meet them after. Gigs in the South. They got a hot tub that they want to see you in. Like,
oh yeah.
Also, it's just know that right before this match, Bill Eadie was told, your heart's going to explode. You can't be a wrestler anymore. And he was like, no, I don't think that's true. And they were like, it is. Turned out he was right. Like, they began phasing out Axe after this match. They put the tag team titles back on them. It was so fucking exciting. This is like the height of Demolition being faces, and then Vince just gets access to Road Warriors and it's just like, oh yeah, fuck you, get out of here, fuck off, fuck your mother, I fucking hate you guys now.
That is an interesting thing about the Pritchard podcast where he talks about, like, yeah, people weren't into the Road Warriors because they liked Demolition. And it's absolutely true. They basically, a lot of times, especially in this era, WWF fans were expected, like, okay, you guys probably read Pro Wrestling Illustrated. You've seen the Road Warriors. You know this is kind of a ripoff. And it's like, no, we don't. We don't know anything other than the things you've told us, Daddy. Yeah. Daddy Vince, I'll go in the shower. Daddy Vince, you want to be alone with Mommy? Mommy says no. Daddy says yes.
We were all 8. That was the thing that people don't remember. I was 6 when this happened. And Demolition is the fucking most exciting thing ever because it's basically like, hey, you know how Skeletor has cool minions? Yeah. Hulk Hogan's got those now. And they're called Demolition. Like, that's the thing that, like, the NWO is so funny where it's like, Vince had this whole marketing machine. How the fuck was he able to compete? And it's like, he made it so that the TV shows didn't seem like scary movies populated by the worst versions of their dad's friends. They just were basically like, you know, the things that are on other shows the same time our show is on, we're ripping those off. And like, also Demolition, here's the key to Demolition. The promos were always fun. This is the thing I realized about this match is you watch the 2 promos, Demolition does a modern promo where literally Axe just is like, we're gonna win the titles, and then Smash just goes, I got a gun or something. I'm gonna go to Littleton, Colorado. I've raised 2 people, Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris. They're gonna have our revenge in about 8 years.
I don't know, man. It just seems labored. Like, see, here's the thing. I was a Pro Wrestling Illustrated guy, so like I always.
All right, Bill.
Hell
after.
Yeah. No, I was, but like, so it was like, also the Road Warriors and the Road Warriors ripped off Demolition. They're both based on Lord Humongous from Mad Max.
No.
Pro Wrestling
Wrong.
saw
No.
Pro Wrestling saw Mad Max, and then the guy on the car, they were like, hey, we'll take the mask for Demolition, and the rest of it, Road Warriors, and that's what they did. And here's the advantage that Road Warriors had. They have hot bodies, and this is like the funny thing about Demolition versus the Road Warriors is that basically Demolition would be the NWA version of the Road Warriors. It's kind of like they switched. Like the Road Warriors belong in WWF and Demolition belongs in the NWA because there's nothing more NWA than like, oh yeah, these guys aren't as hot as these other guys doing the exact same gimmick, but they're better wrestlers. They just look like your uncle who will tell you stories about that time the Navy pissed him off.
You've made an excellent point. What's also very amazing about Demolition is they are the most 2 territory guys that the WWF ever had. You have it's the Masked Superstar and Crusher Khrushchev. Like, holy shit. It's one of those things where I wonder what happened. I guess those 2 guys were just smart and they're like, I'm going to go somewhere where there's money. Like, the thing that you get from watching
Isn't
all
it
these
that the Road Warriors asked for too much money and then Vince was like, fuck you, I'll just get these guys who look like they're female pigs to fucking get in there? They have 9 pairs of tits. Get in the ring.
I thought they wouldn't. I thought Road Warriors just wouldn't come because they were hot and over hot, and then they were like, "Fuck it, we're gonna make Demolition." To the point that literally Vince was like, but Vince did get the Powers of Pain, who are also feuding with
Powers of Pain ruled.
Powers of Pain ruled. No one was more clearly not going to win this match, but maybe they would win this match than the Powers of Pain. Because while they did not have a ring entrance, they did have face paint. So you're like, fuck, I don't know which way this is going to go.
And also, like, by the time the Road Warriors were kind of in the WWF, Hawk had drank himself into the point where he was now a member of Demolition, if you know what I'm saying. And the Powers of Pain looked fucking sick.
I really like how like people are like Hawk was a real fucking badass. What happened every time he fought? Oh, that was when he was drunk or high. From what I understand it, he was drunk or high
he took
a lot.
A lot of punches. Yeah.
Like I feel like I could have beat him in a fight. Like also, how much crack do you have to do for the Hells Angels to be like, he's with us now? That's the thing. Like, Hawk did so much crack, the Hells Angels are like, you're a patched member? No? Okay. Well, still do crack with us.
I like the alternate reality where Hawk just goes to a couple more high school classes and does a version of Hunter Thompson's Hell's Angels book, but it's just about how he fucked all the Hell's Angels or something.
I mean, yeah, I feel like it would just be him realizing that they're not Hell's Angels. It's just one guy who's stolen a motorcycle, but he can't be like he's already told animals, so he can't go for it.
Yeah, it's a suburban dad jam band that just really wants them to leave his house.
He didn't realize with the Hells Angels in their shed, and they kept saying, "Stop trying to sell our lawnmowers." The Hells Angels are really weird.
Yeah, he didn't actually get drunk with or do crack with any Hells Angels. He just got drunk with a copy of Hunter S. Thompson's Hells Angels. Wow, you guys are very flat. I got a paper cut from a Hells Angel. Page 53 was his nickname.
This is all right. So Demolition, I will say this. We're calling them soft body boys. We are soft body boys. And I think something that has definitely changed in 2025 from, this is like 91, yeah?
It's 90, baby. It's number
90.
6.
Something that's changed from 90 is 2 things. Firstly, if you port this version of Demolition to now, they're obviously a power tag team. Second thing that's changed, in 2025, the year of our Lord, both these guys would have tattoos, and they would both be named Brody King.
Yeah, they would. All of these guys would be in a weird faction if they're not in the WWF. That is a faction. They're like, hey, you know, a hot topic, but it's haunted. And if they were in the WWF, they would have a lot of 7-minute matches on WWE main event. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, and This is dope. I just miss when anyone born outside of North America knew karate. That's a
my
plot
God.
point.
My personal favorite was when they tried to get off the ground in the 2000s that Russians knew a type of martial arts. Do you remember that with Heidenreich and someone else? Because it was clearly just Undertaker left the UFC on for 10 minutes with Vince, and Vince saw a white man doing martial art. What the fuck is this? They can do, hey, white hello. Is that what they say? They don't go, hi, they go, hello.
Well, that was another thing apparently from behind the scenes was for years everyone was taught like if there's actually going to be style versus style, the wrestler's going to win, and then Hoist Gracie wins, and basically everyone in pro wrestling is like, we need to fucking kill these guys.
Yeah. Oh my God! If this gets out, we're not going to be able to walk to the ring using fire.
Demolition. Is this the best tag finisher of all time? Especially given the fact that it's heavy people and they can't do it lightly. It's just a fucking... It's like me dropping a knee on someone with zero grace. Just zero body control. The rest of the match is just really honestly very well, making it look like that hurts, but it doesn't at all. But my finisher is I fully got to drop 300 pounds on your jugular. That's the only way I know how to do this.
What's good about the finisher is they do it slowly, so it not only does it look bad, it looks like it hurts. And they are now entering into, this is their third WrestleMania appearance in a row. They still have not given that fucking thing a name. Like, this is the thing that is funny about Gorilla Monsoon and Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura. This is before Vince could bully the commentators, so he couldn't make them just come up with a name for the moves. Gorilla literally goes, "Oh, and look at that! What a maneuver!" Like, he doesn't even. No. I don't think. Gino's there.
No, that's my parlay. Oh no! I'm gonna fake I have cancer because I can't pay the bookie.
I can't believe the Celtics just covered fuck. Why the fuck are these monitors next to each? Kevin Dunn, I'm coming to your house and I'm going to show you one of my shit logs in your toilet. You won't know how I got there. Okay, so what do you think of Smash as a Darsow gimmick? I think it is...
Oh, you want to rank the gimmicks? I think
want to rank
last.
the gimmick. I also think it's last. But it is how he is remembered, because if you literally try and Wikipedia him, it comes up as Smash Wrestler, and you're just like, that's so fucking disrespectful to Mr. Hole-in-One. But a truly amazing gimmick. It's the run of his life. It sets him up for life, supposedly. This is the last sort of great moment of the babyface Demolition, because they transition seamlessly to heel Demolition. Here's how you know they're a heel. They have an Asian friend, and there's 3 of them now.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that. Oh, yeah? I tried Pad Thai, and it's pretty good. This guy's a piece of shit now.
Yeah. Hey, why did you get back with Mr. Fuji? Fuck you. Also, Crush is here. Also, they brought in Crush to be the youthful one. Crush somehow looks like the oldest one. And also, Crush is the only one who looks like he's wearing a diaper when he's in the Demolition getup. Like, the other 2 look like they're hot dads ready to have their nips clamped. And Crush really looks like, I just went poo-poo in my... I filled my diaper, daddy.
Yeah, he looks like you asked him, can you work out for this? It'd be really helpful. No.
Yeah.
No, buddy.
I'm not allowed to go to the gym hang 10 because I kept sleeping in the disabled toilets there.
They asked me I did Kegels too much and I threw my groin out.
Yeah. Hey, turns out when they mean jazzercise, they mean an A and not an I after the J.
Anyway, so that's it. John, so you're putting that last. I think, now that I'm thinking of this, it's really a missed opportunity for them to not have a Royal Rumble and do the 5 Faces of Darsow.
Oh my God. I would watch a Survivor Series match, 5 Faces of Darsow versus the 3 Faces of Foley. Just
what
2
is
men.
What's a Royal Rumble you could do with 30 entrants with the least amount of wrestlers? So you get Darsow is already 5, Foley is 3, so that's 2
8.
people but 8 characters. Like, and obviously the match where Darsow and Foley eliminate each other, go to the back, change clothes, and immediately come out and start fighting again.
I think
you could do that 3 times.
Who else?
Al Snow.
Al Snow's only
Al
got
Snow
3.
could be Leaf Cassidy, Al Snow, and Shinobi.
Oh,
you
then
could
he's
do
4. Wasn't he also one of the people that made Max Moon? I was trying to figure out Brooklyn Brawler's at least 2, but I think he's more.
What's that guy's name? I guess Kane could be 2.
Yeah,
But really,
fuck yourself too. Anything, it's got to be 4 or more to be in the Royal Rumble, because if not, it's gonna just end up being 10 people with Darsow doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah, we should have talked about this beforehand, but
I know. I don't think we should have
Al
talked about it
Snow-
beforehand at all.
Al Snow, Foley, Darsow, those guys have at least 3, and then you're looking at no, Just Incredible's still only 2.
Just Incredible's 2. Diesel's weirdly 3. That's no. Well,
Diesel is 3.
Diesel's 4 technically.
Why? Because it's Diesel,
Vinny Vegas,
Kevin Nash,
Oz.
Vinny Vegas, and Oz.
Yeah, Kevin Nash and like that's the thing. You're like, fuck me.
Yeah, and then your final 3 is, I guess, Smash,
Blacktop Bully and Hole in One, Mr. Darsow.
yeah. The Blacktop Bully and the Mr. Hole in One. He's doing a Two-Face gimmick. He's fighting himself.
Yeah, he's flipping a hubcap or a golf club.
Well, think of some other ones. Rikishi. You could do Rikishi. Rikishi
He's
could
3.
be.
He's just 3. Wild Samoan. The
he-
weird 90s I'm from
he
the
was-
streets gimmick.
No, Head Shrinkers.
Head shrinkers.
Rikishi. I'm from the streets. And fucking what's the other one? Quang.
And the Sultan.
The Sultan. Sorry, he was not the Quang. Quang was Savio Vega, but he is the Sultan.
Quang was Salvio Vega. He was the Sultan.
He could come out as Quang. Like, you could literally, man, this is going to be this would have been a great idea 15 years ago when these men could move. This is what wrestling is missing, is the character actors. We don't have any Buscemi's left. We don't have any Giamatti's left.
This was the best part of researching this episode, was watching Barry Darsow shoot interviews, because it is literally like listening to Kelsey Grammer talk about Frasier. And let me tell you, actually, when I was given the role of Mr. Hole in One, Barry Darsow, I thought, there's some fat people out there, and I'm going to alert them to their girth. Actually, when I was...
You're best.
When I was made Khrushchev Khrushchev, what's actually interesting is they said, you're Russian, and I went, no. From Minnesota. Side with the Russians. That's Jajun. Like, it was just like, he's just like this soft-spoken man. Like, I want him to be, they were like, oh, the volume, you want to know how you make a great wrestler? Turn the volume up on your personality. Barry Darsow was like, that won't work for me. I'm too saucy. I better be a killer. I hide behind the face of another man. Barry Darsow, acting wrestler.
Yeah, he's who Kenny Omega wants to be.
Yeah, Barry Darsow. If Barry Darsow was allowed, if there wasn't a conspiracy to keep Darsow out of wrestling, he would be the booker of AEW, and he would book the greatest Kenny Omega match ever. Kenny Omega versus what Jim Cornette thinks Kenny Omega is gonna do.
The match is 25 minutes long.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
And then his entrance music plays again. He comes out again and he goes, "Or am I?" And then the entire crowd just starts chanting, "This is awesome," until everyone has a stroke. Everyone dies. Tony Khan comes out, takes a bow, is murdered. Chris Jericho claims ownership of AEW, sells it to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is now in charge of AEW, and every 45 minutes he just shows his penis with the "I am Elite" Chiron on Instagram.
First of all, if Darsow runs AEW, everyone's Titantron is now just where they are on the Kinsey scale. That's the first thing.
This guy's a 2.
I'm a 6.
Yeah. But I'm not telling you where. Which perspective.
And the only time you feud with each other is if you're at the same level on the Kinsey scale. If you're a 1 and a 1, then you feud. There can only be 1-1.
You know what I like about that Dr. Kinsey? Terrible haircut. Like,
Okay.
he really started off the, like, you know, dudes who are polyamorous, you're gonna know. How are you gonna know? They're gonna make a real departure hair-wise. And Kinsey, he delivered. You know what I mean?
I watched a movie about Kinsey. For those of you guys don't know, the Kinsey scale is like a scale of 1 to 8 about where you are sexually. 1 would be completely straight. 8 would be John, completely gay. You can use that.
Whoa, I'm
but
negative
my
1.
favorite part of the movie is it's a very like progressive movie, obviously in view of sexuality, and what sexuality is. But then the part of the movie where they basically, I don't know why, but they're in a doctor's office and the doctor goes like, "Yo, Mr. Kinsey, you got the biggest dick I ever even seen." And he goes, "Yeah, tell me about it." That's it.
What is weird about that movie is at a certain point, it's just like, hey, he's going to fuck some of these students. Like, it's just, you're like, yeah, I knew.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I know we're perfect. Like, that's the thing with Kenzie was like, he really invented a lot about sex and in no way was just looking to cum in his students.
Yeah, he was definitely a professor who was just like, I got this scale that says I get to fuck 25-year-olds now to his wife, and his wife was like, sounds good. Also, in the movie, you get to have a huge rod. Hell yeah.
I do love where it's like, I wonder who approved that. The Kinsey Foundation was like, you want to know where he fucking got these ideas from? His big, massive fucking penis, baby. It was,
exactly.
Yeah.
Chicks can't even fit their fucking mouth around it. That's the fucking big part of the movie.
That's why he's got to fuck dudes. That's science.
That's why he's got to fuck.
All the sandwiches they've been eating have stretched out their mouths. I'm going to say this again, Dr. Kinsey. Where did you go to school? Oh, I'm not one of those doctors. I'm one of those guys that just put doctor in front of his name and no one checked because it's the 1950s.
Hell yeah. Now I'm going to go fucking pound some loose asses or fucking loose afterwards.
Hey, I got to go do some research in the library. Yeah, that just means jack off to a bunch of plays. I don't jack off. I don't jack off to porn. I jack off to theater being executed correctly in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. The glossary of my books just says who's walking around funny because I fucked their ass.
Yeah.
Dr. Kinsey. Anyway.
Dr. Kinsey. Coming everywhere, even at the university. Not the one he works at, just the one he's visiting. So I'll tell you who else visited us. A little man named the Repo Man. Now, Dylan, how did
I'm a pedophile.
Like, that could be his character.
I'm gonna take your candy and then you're gonna follow me into my van, Repo Man.
Vince saw one raccoon and thought that was a person. So basically what happens is Demolition falls apart. Vince is just like, hey, stick around. You're both responsible and also not a sex criminal. You're literally the most competent wrestler I've ever met, Barry. Hang out. And then they're like, okay, we're going to repackage you. Barry Darsow is the only wrestler in the history of being repackaged to change his body. That's the one thing is you would never think, it takes you a second to be like, oh shit, Smash and Repo Man are the same person. Because he just slims down a bunch and cuts his hair. And you're like, well, it's a different man. And he showed up.
He works a lot better. Covering his midsection is great. He looks muy YOLO like that. This is also the, hey, we all have to get off steroids time. So Vince is like, hey, Crush, you know how I thought you were fat? Turns out fat is the new muscle because I want people to be big. So Crush. And honestly, Crush, I'm going to say this. The woke mob's going to hate it. Still one of my favorite WWF theme songs of all time is Crush. I loved Crush. Big Crush head right here. Didn't understand why he ever lost a match. His move is dope.
I completely agree with you. Like when he turned on America, I was like, well, it's over, guys. Yokozuna has won. There's no coming back from this. He's got a guy that will crush your head.
Yeah, they changed his move, and I never liked that because, although I will say it is weird to be like, hey, we got to, because this is like another chance of like, okay, we need some bright colors. We need a big guy. He's going to be the new Hogan. Obviously, Crush is not very charismatic or any of the other things that make Hogan good. And it's also funny to have like your big kids characters finishing move it's implied that he crushed a guy's skull. Like one of the most violent things I can think of. Like the mountain from Game of Thrones crushing a man's skull into itself. And you're like, kids are like, yay, he's dead.
Yeah, but you want to know why he's allowed to crush people's heads?
Because he's from Hawaii.
He follows the rules. He's a rule follower.
Oh, yeah, he hates drugs.
Yeah, he hates drugs. Don't look at all the arrests. He hates drugs, and he loves, what does he love? Crushing heads. The real reason, by the way, that Brian Adams kept getting repackaged, who was he very good friends with? The Undertaker. I hate wrestling so much because The Undertaker is literally a man right now wearing Carhartt. He's probably ironing his Carhartt slacks. I'm a real working man. All my friends had to earn their spot. By that, I mean they became friends with me, and I made sure they got jobs because I could have friends. I want to have friends. Like no one has suffered more from just being themselves than the reputation and legacy of The Undertaker. He should have just left well enough alone. Instead, he found a weird guy who looks like he works at a feed store, and they do a podcast that just loves that clips continually make its way to my stream.
I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, Crush could be in the Royal Rumble too. But here's where Crush is a very modern wrestler. They never change his name. He's Demolition Crush, then he's Crush, then he's Crush as a biker.
He's Darsow numbers. And there's 2 Crushes, you fuck. There's Kona Crush, and then there's Tokyo Crush.
Yeah,
and technically,
Kona Crush is coming out.
Shut the
I
fuck
don't
up.
fucking
Fuck
give
you.
a shit
Shut up.
about Kona Crush.
You
Sorry,
shut-
Tokyo Crush.
Shut up. There was
Okay.
also Nation of Domination Crush,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Disciples of Apocalypse Crush. That's
what I
5
mean,
crushes.
Biker Crush, yeah.
Those are 2 different distinctions. It was Criminal Crush,
And he was
then
in
Biker
WCW
Crush.
as Bryan Adams.
Holy shit, that's 6. And then he was Chronic. And then he was Chronic Bryan Adams
I'm
with the
saying
sweet
this.
soul patch.
I'm saying this. If we get this Royal Rumble to happen, then Bryan Adams, as he comes out as Bryan Adams, which he might be dead, he comes out with also Summer of '69 Bryan Adams.
7?
His manager is also Bryan Adams.
Oh my God. Yeah, and guess who does a run-in? Ryan Adams.
Ryan Adams does a run-in. They agree to form a band. New
Yeah.
Crush.
They do agree to form a band. Ryan Adams is like, yeah, but only women work for us. And they're like, why do you want him? Why are that so specific? I don't look into my past. Anyway,
So, Repo Man versus Crush. This is when they're pushing Crush. This is the time where Dylan Gott, young boy, who identifies with Crush a lot. And you know what? It would prove to be true. I'm not tall, but I am fat.
and you did get arrested for drugs in Hawaii.
Hell yeah.
I've been to Kona. Do you know how? Like, I can only there's nothing there for you to get caught with drugs in Kona. Like, you had to have, I assume, spray painted on the wall of your house. I do blow pigs. Like, it is. There's just nothing there. Like, a police officer had to take a boat to Kona to come arrest him. That's how, like, son of a bitch. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, Hawaii is a very is a tough place in a lot of areas. There's a lot of like MMA fighters from Hawaii, people in Hawaii who just fight each other. This is from like BJ Penn, who is a rich man in Hawaii, is also an MMA fighter just because he got in so many fights from being a Hawaiian guy.
I mean, BJ Penn is also one of the best podcast guests you can get currently because
he's fucking nuts now. He
he
thinks
is
his own mother is a psyop. People are like. The
it's the
MMA
best.
community doesn't get together to do anything. They're like basically gathering together to protect BJ Penn because he's live tweeting the fact he's about to Benoit his mom.
Oh, it's like, and it's also what's really good is he's in that phase of conspiracy theories where he just assumes everyone agrees with him. Yeah, yeah, this guy's an SP. Wait, you're into Scientology? They got some good ideas. Okay, all right, yeah, that's real good. Repo Man is an exceptional gimmick. It's the best gimmick. I put it number 2 of all the Darsow gimmicks. What's amazing about this is also the best. This is the only time where Vince McMahon really learned how to make heels, which is just like, you're a cowardly fuck that steals shit. Why the fuck isn't that a heel always present? There's just like, he steals shit.
Yeah, I really like Repo Man because it's like he says Repo Man, but what he means is thief.
Yeah.
But it's not as direct as just saying the thief. So he just says Repo Man. He's gonna take everything back, and this is when did the Repo Man ever tag with IRS? Because it feels like
No.
Repo Man and IRS would have been a natural tag team.
How the fuck that Repo Man wasn't the heavy for Money Incorporated, I'll never know. But this was the period of time where the only time they overlapped was Money Inc. when IRS came in and started tagging with Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it would be Money Inc. with Repo Man, IRS.
Repo
Yeah,
Man-
and then
Repo Man's the Jimmy Hart. He's the better. What's crazy is Repo Man, who is just doing an impression of Jimmy Hart, would end up being a better version of Jimmy Hart than Jimmy Hart, who was the manager of Money Inc.
our next entrance into the Laurence Olivier dossier of professional wrestling is the King of the Road match. This one's pretty famous for how bad it is and how poorly thought out it is. This is the Blacktop Bully, Barry Darsow. All his promos are like basically like,
Yeah, I merged without checking my blind spot.
Am not known for doing safety checks on my brakes, so they are much louder than they should be in residential areas.
does.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes I put my single on and then you adjust because I'm in a big truck and then I don't change lanes. I'm the ultimate heel.
I want you to know something about me, Dustin. We have a secret between us that's not been worked out because we don't have to reveal that yet. So we don't know what it is. I'm tired.
Yeah, he's just a speed addict who's on the road. That's his whole character. This match is in a coke dream. I assume if you're listening to this, you know what the King of the Road match is.
It's so good. It's, I think, my favorite. It's the best. It's
Explain the King of the Road match briefly, John.
It is the first cinematic match ever. It is the Ali Inoki to the Delete Matt Hardy or to the Broken Matt Hardy series. And it takes place on the back of a flatbed 18-wheeler truck. There is a small cage inside of a larger cage. They have to fight their way from the small cage at the back of the truck to the front of the truck where you ring a horn. The reason is that Blacktop Bully's gimmick is he is a actual truck become man, and Dustin Reynolds' gimmick is he doesn't like that. This bear in mind.
I hate trucks.
This is their, I believe, second match. Not even the blow off. This is just getting them together, but it was at Uncensored when the WCW officials aren't there, so the wrestlers make their own matches. And this is the first time where, yeah, I could see what we now know about the Rhodes family. This is something that they would come up with, in that you have to have an editor for a member of the Rhodes family. If not, Goldust is like, all right, here's what Goldust's gimmick is I just take a full shit in front of the audience and I eat the shit. I'm a shit eater. Dusty's gimmicks always just involving him getting a mink coat. All right, baby, here's how they're going to work. I go down to the outlet mall that is just outside of Glendale, California, and I find myself a mink coat that's usually priced at $35,000, and I get it for even $15,000. You buy it. And Cody, if left to his own devices, is like, okay, here's the whole pay-per-view. I show up. I do not know how to program my dot matrix printer and get it onto Wi-Fi. It's a 45-minute segment of me figuring out how to do that, and at the end, Brody Lee comes back. He's been inside the printer the whole time, choke slams me, but I still win. Prince of Wrestling.
Yeah, my dog gets a match, my wife gets a match, and my dentist gets a match.
Yeah, my daughter Liberty notices my neck tattoo. She laughs. I gave her the crossroads 3 times.
She kicks out that I give her a 4th one. She's dead now, new daughter.
Yeah,
anyway.
when The Rock showed up, it doesn't really make any sense, but people are just excited to see The Rock because maybe if The Rock shows up enough times, we get to do the Attitude Era again. You know what that means? We might see tits. Give me The Rock. This match is absolutely spectacular. It ended in the firing of all 3 men. It's a huge pivotal moment in wrestling because it leads to Goldust being created. It leads to Mike Graham being available for certain shoot interviews. That's right. My favorite of all angry people in wrestling. Mike Graham was the agent for this match, was told do not get blood. He turned around and went, well, if we don't get blood, I'm going to have to accuse you guys of homosexuality. So you're getting fucking blood. And so they got blood in the match. They were fired by Turner. And Darsow sat on the shelf for 2 years and was brought back as Mr. Hole-in-One, the greatest gimmick ever. This match is insane. They have to stop for a funeral and for a train to come by. They had to get an active helicopter to shoot it because they didn't, like, unlike other cinematic matches where they shoot it like a movie, they shot this like a match, but it was taking place on a real road with a flatbed truck.
There's no close-ups of what's happening, so they are bleeding, but you can't see it?
Yeah, they edited it. It was also heavily edited.
Oh, it's heavily edited out. Okay.
It's heavily edited to mask the blood, which also makes the match make no sense whatsoever. Also, they did weird things like the commentators weren't shown or told what was going to be happening, so the commentators are just trying to fucking figure it out as it's going along, as opposed to you should have shot the whole thing, then had the commentators come down and just air it like... You don't need the commentators doing live commentary for it. It would have just helped so much better if they had some moments to rehearse. It's fascinating. It's just...
Oh, yeah. The commentators are like, whoa, this looks bad. And then it's just
Bobby
like,
the
hey,
Brain
he's
Heenan
really punching him.
Actively just noticing things that are on the... Look at that guy in the car. I wonder if I could get a Buick that size.
Yeah, it's just... these guys are like bleeding, giving it their all, and exactly, Heenan's like, now that I think about it, I could go to a 7-Eleven after this.
Hey, you know what's interesting, Tony? Tony, know what's interesting? Tony. Fuck you, Tony. Also, it's nuts to me that why did Tony Schiavone just not work for 30 years? Oh, a guy didn't like him. Tony Schiavone's exceptional at wrestling commentary. It's insane that they had to build Michael Cole in a lab when they just had the Siobhan man just waiting. Just in his fucking basement hating his wife. Fuck you, Lois, you fucking cunt.
Well, Tony Schiavone was in a wonderful time where he could literally make a living doing minor league Atlanta Braves baseball, which is fucking...
Yeah, but he was also working at a Starbucks. I don't know how much money he was actually making.
Was he actually working at a Starbucks?
Yeah, he was actually working at a Starbucks. Don't you remember that period of time?
I don't.
It was the two saddest things. Shane Douglas was working, it was in the target management program, and Tony Schiavone was working at a Starbucks. I only know that because Ric Flair would bring it up. Because Ric Flair, of course, Ric Flair what I like is Ric Flair didn't die, so we truly get to see what it was like to deal with Ric Flair for the last 40 years. That Ric Flair just like owing everybody at least I'm not a piece of shit who works at a Starbucks. I just owe a variety of people 5 figures.
So here's my favorite thing about the match. Blacktop Bully dressed like he is a truck. Absolutely. Dustin Rhodes dressed like he's gonna fuck after this. You know what I mean? He's like, I win or lose this match, I'm still fucking sliding up in some 20-year-old pussy tonight. That was his,
let me say
his promo before.
When you hear King of the Road, what kind of trouser are you thinking? I'll say it, white denim.
But also, it's a different time in wrestling. He can't just be a fat shit and fucking still be successful. So this is like 3 or 4 years after he's the young, hot American, you know, the new American dream, Dustin Rhodes. You know what I mean?
5 or 6, depending if you're going from the WWF debut or, it'd be 5-ish. It's fucking crazy because I was a big WCW head in this time, and they pushed Dustin Rhodes a little bit like how they push Sting, especially when Hogan comes in, where it's like, here are the guys that we used to have to put at the top, but better people are here now.
Yeah, and it's also, I don't think any time in wrestling history this guy's young has ever worked as a gimmick, but they always try it. They always try it, and they always are like, well, this guy being young didn't work, and then, he just ends up in the bin.
Also, he was given the worst gimmick. He was given the nickname The Natural, being a lanky man who didn't look like his moves were very good. The other reason why Goldust works so well as a gimmick is... like, Dustin as a wrestler is incredibly versatile and good, but he isn't a flashy wrestler in the way that his brother is, because he has like Luke Longley from the Chicago Bulls body. Like, even if he does a cool move, his legs are too long, so when he sells, it just looks like he forgot to move his legs and they just cascade to the ground like 2 trees falling.
Yeah, and the other thing about wrestling now really is like the only time wrestling is impressive now is when you're good at promos, because everyone's pretty good at wrestling. It used to be everyone was good at promos and a couple people are good at wrestling, and now it's flipped.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's become a video game that's alive, and here's the one thing that still impresses those people. A man able to talk to a crowd that may contain women. I can't go out there and talk to them. There might be some women out there.
But this is the first cinematic match, but it's not a cinematic match because it's just basically footage of a car chase. They use, as you said, a helicopter. It must have cost them so much money to put this match on. It's between 2 mid-carders because they for sure have to it was down rural roads, so I don't believe they would have had to shut the roads down. But I think I think on commentary they mentioned they had to shut roads down. They have to rent a helicopter.
Yeah, you see cops closing the roads as they're going along. It was very expensive.
Yeah,
it's outside of Mobile, Alabama, but still expensive. Again, why the fuck not just find a road on a farmer's property and just go in a circle? I'll never fucking know. Or here's another thing. Just do a cage match and call it. That's the one thing that I do like about Triple H. I got some problems with him, mostly his tone of voice and everything he does. But I just like how every match now is it's a floobity-doobity Jimmy Pan match. What is that? Steel cage. It's just oh, okay. All right, fine.
Yeah, just put it in a cage and you have to ring a bell.
Yeah, that's the best.
Instead but I mean, you know what? This is one of the things where it's obviously try things. It makes the world fun, but this is one of them where you're yeah, I can't see any way that would work. And it was we're going with it, baby.
This is how good the economy was in the 90s, that Eric Bischoff got a job. And as a result, I assume 400 people in the Atlanta area were employed for 5 years. understand how many jobs this match created. Helicopter pilot. Cops had to close the roads. I assumed someone had to wash the truck. There was someone driving the truck. You know what I mean? There was a cameraman who was fired. Mike Graham got cashed a paycheck for this. Then I assume bought a very small Hawaiian shirt that looked big on him.
This is the thing. Like, Cornette will complain about wrestling now, but the King of the Road match was the brainchild of a guy who was in 70s Florida wrestling, something that Jim Cornette loves even more than the weird sex stuff he's probably into.
He is the son of Eddie Gilbert, a man who, according to Jim Cornette, invented
Eddie Graham.
Eddie Graham. So sorry.
Don't worry, just
fuck.
I could hear the emails.
I mean, from me, fire me. That mistake is erroneous. But yeah, literally, Eddie Graham invented modern wrestling booking, and his son was just like, put him in a truck, and then they'll
Put him in a fucking truck.
I said, put him in a fucking truck.
This is Barry Darsow's favorite gimmick, by the way.
It's the best gimmick ever. No, Mr. Hole in One is just this gimmick, but he golfs. Like Mr. Hole in One, Barry Darsow
he's wearing the same thing.
Is the Blacktop bully on a Saturday morning.
I'm back. I fucking did it. I got those tomatoes to Toledo. I flew back. I can play some fucking golf, you fat fuck.
Suck my dick.
That would have been good. Anyway, Blacktop Bully, where do you put this in the Darsow gimmicks?
It's number 3, baby. Yeah, it's number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
next up.
Versus Mike Penis.
Penis versus Darsow.
Penis versus bigger penis. Ladies and gentlemen, this is coming from the greatest wrestling television show ever, WCW Saturday Night, best door ever. I want that door. Dylan, we haven't launched our Patreon yet for Wrestle Review 2000, the new incarnation of the Wrestle Review.
Wrestle Review, the band edition.
That one of the tiers will be, we buy the door from WCW Saturday Night. You have to give us $100,000 every month for 1 year, giving us $1.2 million. And with that money, we will either purchase or build to exact scale and replica the door from WCW Saturday Night. We will each walk through it once and then set it on fire, never to be used again.
This is the February 6th, 1999 Mike Enos match, because in tradition of pro wrestling, this is a feud on WCW Saturday Night. Mr. Hole in One versus Mike Enos.
What's the feud based on?
The feud is based on the fact that Barry Darsow uses a putter in this match to win. Also, very, very, very good shit about Darsow in this match. And one of the things I love about heels in the 90s, he brings just a clear weapon into the match, and the babyface is like, yeah, he brought a bunch of golf clubs into the ring. I'm sure he won't use those on my face.
It is so good because it's also the referee goes to take the putter out of the way, and I don't know what Mike Enos was supposed to be saying, but what he was saying, they made it look like he was like, no, let him keep the putter. I like that putter.
Why can't he have a putter? What are you, a fucking weirdo?
This is a sport. That's from a sport. You're allowed to bring other stuff from a sport here. What's the matter, sweet boy?
Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, Barry Darsow. Let him keep the putter.
Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, he has 2 sports, hockey and later in his life, fascism.
Yeah, and drinking. Oh, can I just say, by the way, I'm really enjoying Canada in the tariff time, because it really feels like when a lady has gone through a divorce and there's enough time where she's like, I don't hate him, but here are the things you need to know. And everyone just coming out of the woodwork to be like, and fuck Wayne Gretzky. I've just been like, yeah, I'm finding this very satisfying. That man's a dick. And he looks like he has bad breath. I've never seen someone who more actively looks like he has oniony breath in my life.
Well, I mean, Wayne Gretzky came out and was like, wouldn't it be bad to be the 51st state? So, that's why everyone fucking hates him.
I mean, it's not. I still think the funniest thing, all of his times where he was claiming it's because those people didn't play hockey, such as he claimed. I remember he said, I'll tell you why those guys hijacked those planes and did 9/11. No hockey in the Middle East. He also claimed, he's like, you want to know why there's no school shootings in Canada? We play hockey. And it's like, that's not why, Wayne. Our kids are pussies. Our kids aren't brave.
We don't
like
have
America.
I mean, I think what he means is basically there's a sport where you can smash a dude in the fucking head and no one cares.
Yeah, but he
But
doesn't.
that's also like they have football, so I don't understand.
Yeah, also it's high school. They also have the ability to punch someone. That's the other thing where it's like, fuck you, Wayne. Also,
I
Wayne,
do like a guy who's like, I love maple syrup, I love Augie, and honestly, I think I should have all the power in this country.
Yeah, like, look, I love a couple of things. I love Canada. I love not living there since the late '80s. I love being an only child. You have 5 brothers. I said I'm an only child.
I mean, what superstar athlete in the history of athletics hasn't later in life come out and said they think that totalitarianism is good? Like, I think
Not
that's
a one.
1-to-1. Yeah.
He's one. You can't find him because the reason why all those guys literally, like, to them, like, nothing is impossible. I wanted to be the best at hockey, and I am. Why can't you get better insurance? It's like, well, it's not like for like, you fuck. It is.
Yeah, I can't wait for 20 years from now what LeBron James is going to believe. It's going to be great.
Oh,
He's
my
going to
God.
like
No.
side with the AI against us or something.
What's going to be crazier is what LeBron James's son believes in. That's going to be some good shit.
Oh yeah, especially because he had that one bad thing happen to him in a life that's been so awesome. Where it's like,
Yeah,
not only is
well-
your dad one of the best basketball players of all time, he's also like seemingly a good father.
He's a good father and wanted you to also live your dream, and an entire city went, absolutely not. Like,
Yeah.
understand, I don't know how the rest of the world feels about LA, but like Stephen A. Smith knew what he was doing by being like, you weren't at Kobe's funeral, because the entire city is like, well, you better get a time machine and go back in time and attend that funeral, or you are going to fucking die. Like, I have never lived in a city that, like, LA does not like anything but the Lakers and the Dodgers. It doesn't like anything. It's like the LA Times is 90% here is what's happening with the Lakers, 10% like maybe there's been a fire.
I mean, I don't know. I think LeBron James is great right now. Barry Darsow, Mr. Hole-in-One, ECW is one of the biggest missed opportunities. You're fat, and then just braining a fan with a fucking putter. They're dead.
If you want to compete with the Attitude Era, you got to fight fire with fire, and nothing says fire more than a man in a white polo just going, hey, Tubby, put down the hot dog, pick up my dick.
grabs the microphone. I'm gonna shove this putter in Francine's cunt. Everyone just
Oh
fucking.
my God.
That's his face turn.
If
Beats
Mr.
Francine
Barry
to death with a putter.
Darsow, if Mr. Hole-in-One Barry Darsow showed up at the ECW arena mid-strip of Kimono Wanalemi on the roof, hits
Kills
her
her.
full swing with a driver to the back of the head. Oh my God, Kimono Wanalemi is bleeding, but she's sort of topless, so we are not cutting away.
Yeah, exactly.
Kimono Wanalei is dead, but one of her tits fell out. ECW.
ECW.
While she's convulsing on the ground, dying, one of her tits fell out. So let's all jack off.
Yeah, Mr. Hole-in-One is
Mr.
just
Dub.
pointing at the camera, going like this. Ooh, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Just shoving golf balls in a dead woman's vagina.
This is why they call me Hole-in-One.
Everyone's like, easy dub,
Usually-
easy dub.
Yeah, usually we cut away to different clips, but this is the greatest moment in the history of this company and the sport of professional wrestling.
I mean, yeah, Mr. Hole-in-One, Barry Darsow in the EC, and then Paulie's like,
No, it'll be really good. Here's what's going to happen. Barry's going to murder you with a putter, and then and you get $40.
Yeah.
Also, here's 10 now, 30 after you're dead.
Here's the plan. Okay, I brought in a guy from WCW Saturday Night. He's going to fully attack Tommy Dreamer with a handgun. He's going to shoot him a couple of times. He's going to aim for the chest. We're not looking for a vital organ, but if he dies, he dies. If Tommy somehow is able to fight through the coma, he will get a shot at Rhino and the ECW TV title.
yeah, not the world title, the world's TV title.
Oh,
Yeah,
you guys listen. Everyone remembers ECW being awesome, and that's because you liked ECW One Night Stand. If you watch ECW TV week to week, it is so convoluted. And last week at the ECW arena, Super Crazy showed up and he was unsure where he'd parked earlier in the evening. So Mike Awesome tried to help him to his car. Little did they know that they would be stopped by a Philadelphia area truant officer looking for some kids who had been supposed to be at a school, but they did not end up at that school. And Mike Awesome and Super Crazy wanted to help, and then they were jumped by you guessed it, Pitbull 2.
Yeah, the ECW, a lot of it was just basically like, yeah, he accentuated the positives and hided the weaknesses, and some of the weaknesses were this guy's 5'11", and some of the weaknesses were he's wanted for murder in 6 states.
Yeah, some of the weaknesses were Jack Victory does not know how to wrestle and is actively in a wheelchair. For some reason, you made him the heavy of your biggest heel. Look, I'm tired.
He was in the NWA. That's
Yeah,
why. I mean, watching old NWA and being like Jack Victory's there, it's like it's a fucking Road Warriors Demolition thing. It's like, wow, it's just for fucking guys who were our age watching ECW, be like, oh, fucking Jack Victory was on the NWA. Anyway, what's he up to? He's got a colostomy bag and he's asking to not be filmed.
Yeah, but there's so many. He could have gotten a fucking get me an Armstrong, brother. I don't need Jack Victory.
Oh yeah, get me a fucking Armstrong, brother.
Get
I need
me
some
Brian.
coke. I need to feel bad.
Get me Bullet Bob.
Comedy wrestling now is missing the fact that all these announcers play it straight. He gets called Mr. Hole in the Head. He gets insulted, Barry Darsow does, the whole time. It's great. Now it would be like the announcers joking around. They would treat him like he's a... Comedy wrestling, God bless Colt Cabana. God bless him. Comedy wrestling as heels does not work. If it's a comedy wrestler, it needs to be a babyface. He needs to be making fun of the heel. The heel is supposed to be like the straight man. I don't know which one's the straight man, but Abbott and Costello this shit.
It's Costello. What is very interesting about what Darsow is doing, though, is it is this, like, it's the perfect encapsulation of it's the bully teacher every kid will recognize from the playground, and it's crazy they haven't brought back this as just a straight-up gimmick of because, like, everyone would be like, and fuck this guy. Like, that's the one thing I would say that's missing from Triple H's House of Pain, our current WWE, is he knows how to make a face really well. He doesn't really actually know how to make a heel, because I guarantee Triple H can't think of anyone negative because he just sees his father-in-law and Brock Lesnar like sneaking into his bedroom and being like, "Ooh, your daughter's almost ready." You're talking about your daughter, Vince. That's my wife. Yeah, she's your daughter too now because you're me. What?
To me, it just comes off like, without belaboring too much on like the modern wrestling thing, it's like, I just miss someone's a fucking sous chef and that's bad for some reason.
I agree with you
I miss
completely.
that as far as I was like,
Tyler Jade, what's his character? He sends emails, but he CCs everybody instead of BCCing people, so he's giving up your personal contacts.
And in this corner, he's your friend, but you can't trust him with certain pieces of information, so you never know what to say to him. It's
Yeah.
irritating. Yeah. Oh, I completely agree.
But
And
whereas
what's
you need
also
someone like
amazing-
dumb fucking characters like Darsow, and then, you know, then you can do like Rick Stevens. He punches you right in the stomach. He's stomach punch guy.
Well, this is the problem with wrestling being everyone's dream. Is Barry Darsow's dream was never to be a wrestler. His dream was to make 6 figures and be in a place where he didn't have to always sleep next to his wife. So it's like, yeah, he's going to be like, what's my gimmick? Okay, I'm a truck. I don't give a shit. Like, that's the thing. Is now
Wrestling
everyone's
does...
like,
sorry.
I'm Ricochet. I can only ever be Ricochet. And it's like, nah, you're McGillicuddy. You just you're tired. And he's like, no, I am Ricochet. And so like, but Darsow would be like, yeah, I'll be fucking tired.
He has an
I don't
accent
give
when
a
he says
shit.
it.
Yeah, I'm Ricochet.
One funny thing about Ricochet that I always thought was like, I forget which wrestler he was dating, but it was like some gymnast lady. And then she came and he was crying because her match was so good. And she was like, yeah, man, it's fine. And I've like never seen a guy get dumped more. And then they stopped dating. I was like, yeah, there's no way. She's like, quit being a fucking loser about this. It's just fucking wrestling, okay? Yeah. I did some flippity doos. I do some flippity doos all the time. And he's like, it was so powerful. The best Ricochet ever was when he was Prince Puma in Lucha Underground, because he had a mask and it just like took that out of the equation.
I don't know. I liked the 2 weeks where he was Nerd King Ricochet in AEW very recently, where they were just like, hey, we need someone to swerve to beat Big before we feed him to Moxley. And so they just had him be like just exactly what you actually know Ricochet to be, which is like, you want to know why I do this? Because I'm good at it. Like, that's who Ricochet should be. Like, Ricochet should be the like, there's a reason why I'm the student body vice president. It's because I'm supposed to run shit.
Oh
but I
yeah,
don't want all
Ricochet
the
should be
power.
guy wearing a lanyard. You know those people who wore lanyards? Comedy festivals where they give you a lanyard and then people wear the lanyard on stage. It's like, okay, you're a fucking
I've never
loser. I don't know.
I've never laughed so hard in my entire life. Mike Wilmot in 2010 went around the Just for Laughs after party telling everyone to take off their lanyards. And you could really tell who was fun and who was not based off of how they reacted to that. And there were a couple of people. Bo Burnham was the favorite, where he was like, do you work for the festival? And Wilmot, nah, I'm a comic. And he's like, well, why are you yelling at me? That I enjoyed.
You're not my boss. I don't know who you are. Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, it's weird. Just because we're in Canada, I don't have the context to understand that you are charming. You're just a drunk man going, yeah. It's me right now.
Yeah. You ever played Timmins? No, I'm a millionaire off of making videos in my room. Timmins would eat you alive. People who need to be better. And anyway, I love Barry Darsow, Mr. Hole in One. It's very fun. It's very fun to have this. Like when you have a wrestling company this big where you have a show that is clearly a C show like Saturday Night, and then you get a character like that who you see kind of go head to head with these guys who are also jobbers on this program, and they get to go head to head, and then you have them step out of that world into like Thunder or Nitro, and they get murdered immediately. And I like how it creates like a hierarchy.
AEW losing Dark was one of the biggest mistakes they've ever made because it's exactly what you're talking about. It's a walled garden. You can develop heels and monsters like that match where Lance Archer, the guy is scared and Lance Archer drags him to the ring to beat the shit out of him. That's such a simple, easy way of getting this guy over. You show those clips on Dynamite. It kills 2 minutes of Dynamite. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Do I have to fix everything?
Yeah. And yeah, I thought that was really cool. Finding different ways to do squash matches, even doing that, no one sees it, and then you can give it to a guy who you think is more worth the time than Lance Archer. That type of thing. Great stuff. And it creates gatekeepers. Like, this guy can easily beat Barry Darsow, so now he is better than WCW Saturday Night. WCW Saturday Night was also the place where Goldberg got his start, where they started, like, giving Goldberg wins, where he was beating everybody, and then he had to earn those victories, and then they were just kind of like, it's more fun if he just tackles a guy and then slam him, and then that's how Goldberg started. Like you said, it's a walled garden. It's a place to try things.
It's also a digestible way for kids to watch your like, not to get so into the weeds, but like WCW Saturday Night and WCW Main Event got me so into WCW because I didn't have TS. I for some reason couldn't get Nitro, or it was before they were showing Nitro on TSN. But you just saw the clips, and you were like, WCW Monday Nitro is the fucking greatest fucking TV show I've ever fucking heard of in my fucking life. Fucking Sting showed up with a fucking vulture. How the fuck am I not watching that?
Yeah, AW Dark was amazing. So, John, final ranking of Darsow characters. Do it unironically.
This is not ironically. I'm going to go... Mr. Hole in One is number one because it's the last great thing that was on WCW Saturday Night. It's phenomenal.
Oh, wow.
It's so fun. He's number one. Number two, I'm adjusting slightly. I'm putting number two is Smash. I'm moving Smash up because it's so different. Okay. It's the two pillars of his career, then Blacktop Bully, then Repo Man, honorable mention, Khrushchev. We don't need to hear from Dylan. Goodbye, everybody.
We did not do a Crusher Khrushchev match. That was an oversight. We'll do an entire 6-hour history of Crusher Khrushchev.
We'll do 1 year of Crusher Khrushchev.
Crusher Khrushchev?
It will be 52 episodes on Crusher Khrushchev. If you thought we lost it the last time, literally doing Vince McMahon for a year caused us to want to end the show. If we do a year of Crusher Khrushchev, I assume that we'll end up wanting to annihilate our families.
There you go. My number one is Repo Man. I don't have the sentimentality towards Demolition. I don't honestly remember watching Demolition when I was a kid. So
really?
No. So yeah. Repo Man, then Mr. Hole in One, I guess you put Smash, and then lasting is Blacktop Bully, because I don't remember that. And pretending that I would be a lie to the good viewers of the show. Smash, only title win, obviously. Repo Man, if you're putting it into now, like, if you're putting it into modern wrestling, or if Repo Man was even around for some reason, he just, came as part of the WCW invasion, and he would have been like 900-time hardcore champion, that type of thing. He would have won some like lower mid-card title, European title. He would have stolen the European title, something like that. But I think Repo Man was great, and I love a guy who can maintain his heat even though you constantly beat him, which the Repo Man can, because he could just, you could kick the shit out of the Repo Man, and if you're, whoever fucking beats the shit out of the Repo Man, and then he just pose too long, and Repo Man just, steals their shoes or something.
I was about to say he steals the ring belt as he's on the ring bell as he's on his way out. Boom, feud continues.
Yeah, he could just do whatever. He could steal people. Human trafficker, the Repo Man.
Oh my God, Barry
Andrew
Darsow.
Tate's managing him.
Oh my God, Barry Tate.
Barry Tate. Oh, that's the main one. It's crazy. This is what I was thinking about when I was watching this, about how on the zeitgeist wrestling used to be, where they would just steal things from movies, and that now isn't the thing. And there's no wrestling manosphere blogger guy, because they're kind of worried about that level of controversy or splitting the audience when the world is so divided, and just having a guy who is just I love Trump, I love America guy, and how well that would play, and how scared they are to kind of go there now. Which makes sense, because now they're owned by a conglomerate and not a guy.
I think you're giving them a bit too much credit. I think it's also that thing of they're like, hey, we actually can't put that on television. Why? Well, one of the actual guys that's doing that, Jake Paul, is employed by our company. And also probably about 8 of our high level. And they also can't do toxic masculinity stuff, because then they're going to be like, hey, wait, you got a character that's like Andrew Tate. You know who did stuff that's worse than Andrew Tate? The guy who founded this company and your father-in-law. Oh, yeah. I think that's why they're doing it, is they're literally because that guy would have to come out and be like, where's Vince? I want Vince back.
Oh, that's his whole character would be, let's get Vince back, and a lot of the audience would be super on board with that. Anyway, next
Brock
week.
Lesnar is that. Fuck you.
Next week, we're talking about Abyss versus Raven.
Oh, boy, we are.
That's next week.
We've already recorded the episodes. They're phenomenal. We love you. We're so happy that we're back. I'm happy we're back. Dylan's not happy. Dylan's very upset.
Give us a review and subscribe and rate and review while subscribing. Goodbye, guys. Thank you so much for listening. See you next week.